What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It's time for a review of the debut album Our Own House by MisterWives, a pop band that have kind of gotten a lot of exposure recently. A lot of people have been talking about them. I discovered them back in early 2014, shortly after the release of their debut EP Reflections, which of course had the hit song of the same name. You probably heard it in a lot of commercials. It was all over the app Vine for a while there, and I gotta say it's actually a Vine song that didn't suck. It got them a lot of extra exposure, which I only saw as being a good thing. The track Reflections really just is a quirky pop gem. I'm super into it. It's got awesome rhythms. Mandy Duff, the lead singer's vocals are absolutely unique. They stand out probably even to a casual listener. You're sitting there listening to it and you recognize her voice. It's one of those things that I feel like could eventually crack the top 40 of the Billboard Hot 100, and I would love to see more stuff like this infiltrating the system. The track Reflections definitely sets itself apart from its peers. It's got these really peppy drums, this awesome guitar rhythm that's nothing super inventive, but at the same time it stands out from all of the other stuff in the kind of pop rock world these days, because I feel like not only on this track but really all throughout this album I noticed a lot of standout instrumentals. I'm sure a lot of you guys are thinking, John, I've already heard the track Reflections. How did the rest of the album turn out? Well, I gotta say, not bad at all. In fact, I was pretty impressed with this thing. They've got a batch of well-crafted and skillfully produced pop tunes here, helmed by the likes of Neil Avron. You probably know him from the likes of Yellowcard and Anne Berlin and doing production work for them. I'm not calling this record a groundbreaker or a game changer, but it is always nice to see a new pop band that actually has a lot of talent kind of being sprinkled into the mainstream. If you guys haven't noticed already, there is a sonic shift going on in the world of top 40 music these days. If artists like MisterWives and Vance Joy, for example, are the ones that are going to be taking over, along with a lot of other established acts kind of changing their sound and toning it down a bit from the blatant sex club vibe, then I'm totally on board with it. So let's talk about some of these tracks. Coffins is one that stood out to me. Definitely shows how talented they can be as writers, even though they are a relatively young band. Definitely enjoy that track. Another one, Best I Can Do, is one that manages to incorporate a lot of outside influences and a lot of extra instrumentation, stuff that you maybe would not expect to hear on this record, but still make it a very well crafted, a very hook-centric song, and one that's an integral part of this record. One of the most exciting moments on the LP for me was the track Hurricane, a song that refuses to take Get Out of My Head for an answer. There's some light synth work and airy percussion that kick the song off before sliding into a nice guitar riff and then some airy vocals, but it escalates into a soaring and explosive chorus that really just sells itself well as a song about self-empowerment. I've noticed that a lot of the guitars on this album are actually quite interesting, not just looping riffs and playing the same chords over and over again. They make an effort to kind of mix things up. Some of these tracks kind of remind me of a 1975 type vibe, the band, not the year. One of those tracks where I noticed the influence the most would be Box Around the Sun. It has a really nice and smooth guitar flow about it, and it just really helps this become one of the biggest standouts on the album for me. Duffy's vocals work well, not only as a kind of pep in your step, sunshiny type anthem, but in the more mid-tempo tracks and even some of the lighter and more serious work as well. I clicked with this album almost instantly, with the title track Our Own House really just paving the way for a solid record to come. The lyrics on this record kind of deal with finding hope and positivity in the world around you and kind of seeing more than what meets the eye. Hell, a lot of the album seems to take place almost in the dream world, and I know that kind of contradicts their own track No Need for Dreaming, but really some of the tracks get out there. Of course, one of those that I would call to mind would be Imagination Infatuation. Duffy gets lost on a few of the slower songs and tends to wander with her voice, and the band kind of gives lackluster instrumentals on tracks like Oceans and even Vagabond. I'm kind of mixed on the closing track Queens as well. That's one that is growing on me, and we'll see how it sits with me with time. There's enough catchy melodies and interesting instrumentals on this thing to keep listeners coming back to it, or at least picking a few songs off of this thing and adding it to their various playlists. You can check the description if you want to see my favorite and least favorite tracks. I'm sorry if this review felt a bit rushed. I've just been so pressed for time lately, but I did want to get a review of this record out, especially since I did have a few requests for it. Overall, Our Own House is a 4 out of 5 from me. Let me know your thoughts on the album in the comments section down below. Don't forget to smash the like button on this video, and I'm doing a short outro this time. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you very soon right here on ARTV.